The universal laws have been foundational in changing my entire life. As you may know, if you've heard my story before, I talk about how a few years ago, I would hear personal development leaders, gurus, and motivational speakers say things like, you can have it all. You can have anything you want. You can make so much money. You can have the home of your dreams, the life of your dreams, the career of your dreams. And I used to hear people talk like this and say, easy for you to say. You probably had it easy. You probably had connections. You probably had a network. You don't look like me. You don't have the background like me. You haven't been through the abuse and bullying like me. You haven't been through all of the tough stuff that I've been through. So of course you can have it all. But for me, my life is challenging. My life is hard, and it's going to continue to stay this way. I'm going to continue to be stuck. I'm going to continue to be frustrating. I'm going to continue to working all the time for what felt like nothing. And that's how it felt for such a long time, hearing people say these motivational things. But as I started on my journey with Yes Supply, and I started to get into personal development even deeper, and I started to listen more to what people were saying and teaching, I discovered universal laws. And for me, learning about the universal laws was a foundation. It was something really, really strong that I felt like I could stand upon and I could build my life around, because rather than just rah, you can do it, you can have it all, the universal laws felt concrete. They felt scientific. They felt like if I worked alongside these laws, I could have the life that I wanted, because I understood that these laws are always working. So with the law of gravity, I know if I pick something up and I open up my hand, it's gonna fall down. It doesn't matter if it's winter, it doesn't matter if it's summer, it doesn't matter if I'm inside, it doesn't matter if I'm outside. No matter what, if I work with the law of gravity, holding something up and letting it go, it is always going to drop in the exact same way. And the universal laws work in the exact same way. And so I understood that if I work in harmony with these laws and I live my life in harmony with these laws, then I can begin to have a harmonious life. And so understanding the universal laws, first and foremost, is going to create such a huge shift in yourself. And when you embody them, you actually use them, you work with them, you integrate them into your life, into your being, into what you do, you are going to see incredible results. And then by you embodying these as being that leader, being that teacher, being that coach, whatever the reason is that you're here today, when you begin to embody them, you're going to be such an influence for other people to see how incredible the universal laws work. And they're gonna wanna know more. And they're also gonna understand that by them working with them, they're gonna have amazing results. I definitely encourage you to share these with your clients, with your friends, with your family, whoever you feel like needs to understand these, because again, like I said, they felt like a very concrete way of moving through the world, and they truly have worked wonders for me. And the way the universal laws work is the universe is always for fuller expansion and greater expression, as Bob Proctor says. And so what that means is the universe is always supporting love. The universe is always supporting growth. The universe is always supporting greater expansion and greater creativity, because we are here to experience. We are here as creative beings. And so when we live alongside of that, the universe has to support us, because we are working alongside of it. We are working with it, right? It's the difference between trying to swim against the current or just allowing the flow of the river take you. It's the difference between trying to push against the wind or just walking with the wind behind you. And so by living your life like this, and by working alongside of this, your life is going to start to feel so much easier, because you're not pushing, you're not forcing, you're not resisting. You're instead going with the natural flow of everything around you, just like going with the flow of nature. So again, universal laws have been absolutely instrumental in changing and up-leveling my life, and also for my clients. And so I'm so excited to dig into these with you today. Now, some people will say that there's 7 universal laws, some 11, and some 150. And ancient cultures from around the world, from Greece to India to China to dozens of others that we know of, have for at least 5,000 years made sense of consistent themes within our universe, long before the science existed to support them and long before we use the internet in our everyday. We've come to know these as the universal laws. And so depending on what resonates for you, you might decide to go alongside 7 of them, 11 of them, or 150 of them. Again, they all have the same themes, but in different places, they are broken down into different segments. For example, the law of attraction, you've probably heard of numerous times, but what a lot of people don't realize is that the law of attraction is a subset of the law of vibration. So for the purposes of today, we're not going to focus too much on how many universal laws are there. Are there 7? Are there 12? Are there 150? Instead, I'm going to dive into the universal laws that I have most used to change my life and that I support my clients with as well. And I invite you to take these learnings, again, integrate them into your life and use them, and you'll find out which ones you come to love and the lessons that you pull from them. As our science has become more and more sophisticated, evidence is piling up for some of these laws in some form or another. So the first, and what I believe is the most important universal law, is the law of divine oneness. The law of divine oneness tells us that we all derive from a single source and live within a single collective and universal consciousness, meaning we are all connected. We are all one. Depending on your spiritual beliefs, you might believe that we have come from one light, one source of love, one source of infinite intelligence, and we came down to this planet to experience individuality and to experience polarity. Meaning, if we were a source of love beforehand, we came here to experience fear, the opposite of love, and the only way that we could do that is by individuating. But on our path to wholeness and our path to healing, what we find is we are all connected. And there's so much scientific data that's now also proving that we are all one. Even though our eyes might look at 2 different people and say, these 2 people are completely separate, we have to remember that our eyes can only see a specific spectrum of light. And if our eyes had the capability to see even more so, we would actually be able to understand that these 2 parts of energy, even though it looks like they're separate, they are all connected. There is an energy that is bringing them together. And the interesting thing is that time and space can't stop this from happening. An energy that's right here in Canada where I'm sitting could affect an energy that's halfway across the world, maybe in Australia or New Zealand or Africa. There's no telling what our energy can do. How this understanding of the law of divine oneness changed my life was when I realized that I was no longer separate from everyone around me. It changed the way that I looked at supporting others. It changed the way that I looked at helping others and working with others. And it made me more confident because I grew up feeling like such an individual, feeling like I was so different from people. And to be honest, I had a lot of fear of other people. I had a fear that if I were to put myself out there or share something or talk about something, that people would hate me, that they would make fun of me, that they would reject me. And I'll be honest, I did have examples of that happening to me a lot. And so it's not surprising that I thought that way, or it's not surprising that I felt that way. But when I learned the law of divine oneness, I recognized that we are all connected. What I decided is if I'm going to work alongside these laws, I need to start by working with the law of divine oneness. And how that gave me confidence as I was beginning to put myself out there, growing Yes Supply and creating content and everything like that, is I started to look at the people that I was helping as my brothers and sisters. I started to look at the people that I was helping as my family. And I decided every time I make a piece of content, I make a video or a post, I'm giving to a part of me. I'm giving to my family member, my sister, my brother, right? And by beginning to think like that, it helped inspire me to work from a place of love. It helped inspire me to work from a place of ultimate generosity, not worrying about if I was going to get anything back. And also it allowed me to take my ego out of it, because I no longer worried about somebody attacking me or making fun of me, because I knew that they were just a part of me. And oftentimes, if somebody does attack me, maybe I get a mean comment online or whatever that is, I recognize if it's creating any emotions in me, I recognize that they're showing me a part of me that I can heal. It actually initiates me into further healing, because when these emotions come up for me, it's a realization that I have more work to do on loving myself. And so whenever any negativity or anything like that happens, I don't try to attack that person back or get mad at them or defend myself or anything like that, because I recognize that we are all one. And if I go and attack them, I'm really attacking a part of myself. And so I just do the extra work that I can do to heal, because when I decide to heal myself, hopefully, inevitably, I'm also healing a part of them, and I'm also healing the world. And so the law of divine oneness has really gone a long way in giving me the energy and the power to be kinder, to be more generous, and also to really focus on my inner power and my inner creativity. Because when I focus on what is within me, that power and that energy within me, I am raising the vibration and supporting others in finding their inner energy and their inner power too, which is where their strength and happiness is going to come from. So in terms of the science behind the law of divine oneness, the famous Big Bang Theory also aligns with this law as well. So the Big Bang Theory explains the origins of our universe as an extremely dense point containing the potential for everything that ever has and ever will exist, and that it exploded spontaneously, hurtling the universe out into every direction in an ever-expanding way. The Big Bang Theory theorizes that we were all one, and that when the Big Bang occurred, all particles were scattered throughout the universe. So we ask you to consider, like most scientists, that 95% of the universe is invisible, and that invisible energy is often known as ether, right? So even though it looks like the air around me is just empty space, there's a lot of theories that state that this is actually energy, and it's energy that is waiting to be turned into form, to be transmuted into form. So the energy right here has infinite potentiality. And when we understand that everything is connected and everything is energy and energy is all around us, we understand that there's infinite possibilities for our life and for what we create. So Isaiah's gonna join me for this. He really wants to be with his mommy right now. So continuing on, this mysterious connectedness is already exciting to scientists, but the speed with which these particles communicate is even more exciting. That is, the instantaneous change we see between two entangled particles means that one particle is able to send a signal to the other, even across the length of the universe and faster than the speed of light. It seems to be almost instantaneous, or actually instantaneous. The speed of light has been known so long as the speed limit of our universe, so this shouldn't be possible, and yet there it is. So there's so much more to learn about the connectedness of our universe from the coming era of quantum physics and quantum research, which I'm so excited about. I believe that everything is connected to everything else. What we think, say, do, and believe is going to have a corresponding effect on others and the universe around us, and also come back for ourselves. How this has shifted my perspective, bless you, is I see the students that I help as my sisters and brothers and family. I give others the benefit of the doubt. I know that I create the world that I live in. And I believe that everything is interconnected energetically. And so what I put out, I get back. And so I'm always asking myself, what energy am I giving from? The next universal law that we're going to talk about today is the law of increase.